The length of segment CD if both points C and D are midpoints of the cube with a volume of 8. Alright, so if we have a volume here of 8, we know that the volume of a cube is side cubed. So let me write that down right there. And if the volume is 8, I know that each side has to be 2. Because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, so that would make sense that this side is 2. Now, keep in mind that the problem tells me that D and C are midpoints of the sides, right? So the distance from that point to that point will be 1, and the distance from that point to the end there will be 1. And same thing here, that will be 1, and that will be 1. Now, this is definitely a little bit of an advanced cube problem, and it requires a bunch of different things. And see that one line, that's the distance we're trying to figure out the length of CD. And let's see, what they're really expecting you to figure out here is if you can visualize that little triangle in there. So see that triangle that I just drew? Let me just make this red too so it all pops out. That triangle in there. Now really imagine this is a 3-dimensional figure. What we're going to try to figure out is, since we know that this side right here is 2, we know that this is 2 right there, and we know that this is 1 right there, we can use a squared plus b squared equals c squared to figure out this. Let's draw this over here on the right side too, so we can have multiple images going on so you can visualize exactly what's happening. See that triangle on the floor really at this point right there? There's a 90-degree joint right there, so we know that this is a squared plus b squared equals c squared kind of deal over here. So let's pull the pen out. We know that this side is 2. We know the length of this side is 1, and we're going to be able to figure out the length of that right there now. So we're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So this will be 2 squared plus 1 squared equals c squared. So 2 squared is 4, 1 squared is 1, and c squared will equal 5, and c will equal square root of 5. So now I know that this length right there is square root of 5. This right there is square root of 5, or that length right there is square root of 5. Now look at what happened. Now we have this other triangle in there. Let me get the line out. So now we have, this is the length that we're trying to find. We know that this much right there is 1. Right, that's 1. And we just figured out this right there, that line. The length of that line we just figured out is square root of 5. So now we have another a squared plus b squared equals c squared thing that we can do. So that will be my a right there. So a squared plus b squared, and that will be my c now, and that will be the length of CD. So it'll be 1 squared plus square root of 5 squared equals c squared. So 1 squared is just 1. Square root of 5 squared is 5. So 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 equals c squared, and c will equal square root of 6. So again, this 1 comes from right there. This square root of 5, let's change the color there so you can see through the white. That square root of 5 is coming from that length that we found, and these are the 2 legs. So if I have that triangle, it kind of looks like this. There's my 1, there's my square root of 5, and there's the c that I'm trying to find. So that was my a, that was my b, and that c is the length of CD in there. So first we have to figure out this length right there. Once we figure out that that was square root of 5, we could figure out the length of CD. So just drawing multiple triangles in there, visualizing this as a 3-dimensional figure will help you get to the final answer, which would be square root of 6.